Today we'll be exploring the Dana Point Harbor area, covering some of the local sites, interesting activities, and fun places to visit. We'll explore by sea and by land so that you get a different perspective of the Dana Point Harbor area. We're getting an early start this morning as we see the sun rising to the east of the harbor as we've had clear and warm Santa Ana conditions over the last several days. Dana Point has a rich history that goes back several hundred years to the days of the missions and the tall ships that used to sail this coast. Dana Point is located halfway between Los Angeles and San Diego here in California. By car, depending on traffic, it's about 90 minutes in either direction. It's a quaint little town with a rich cultural history and the surf and sailing industries. The weather here is typically 60s and 70s during the day and 50s and 60s at night. It is quite a temperate climate most of the year. Here's a shot of the harbor entrance. The harbor is located right off Pacific Coast Highway and the 5 freeway, so Dana Point is easy to find. If you're coming by sea, here's a look at the harbor approach and the entrance so you know what to expect and what direction to head upon arrival. There are local restaurants, guest docks, and yacht clubs with reciprocal privileges as places to visit. If you want to make a day of it, there is sport fishing, whale watching, and rentals for paddleboards, kayaks, and jet skis. This is also a launch point for the Catalina Express if you'd like to make a trip across the 37 miles to the city of Avalon, located on Catalina Island. It's about a 90-minute boat ride with several trips back and forth throughout the day. An adult ticket is $80 and children are $64 each. For an extra $7, you can bring your bike, which is helpful to get around. We'll focus on Catalina in another episode. There is a launch ramp available in the Dana Harbor if you'd like to bring your vessel down to explore or fish the area. It is usually only busy on weekends in late spring and summer. Welcome to another episode of Cali on the Water, where we focus on all aspects of life around the sea. As fellow boaters and travelers, we'll explore all that California and the West Coast has to offer. We'll visit various harbors, beaches, and coastal towns, showing you fun activities and great places to eat. Whether you're a boater, sailor, or traveler, we hope you'll enjoy learning something new about life along the coast. So I'm Eric, and I have a passion for being on the ocean. This is actual footage of me piloting our cruiser yacht coming up from San Diego to Dana Point after purchasing it in 2016. I don't spend a lot of time in front of the camera, but rather filming and narrating the things that you would like to see on the water. Whether boating, sailing, surfing, or exploring, there is always something new to see while out on the water. This is Tux and Callie. Both are rescue dogs and have been together since they were a month old. Tux is black and white and a border collie mix. He is quite reserved, but really comes alive on the water. Callie is brown and white and a shepherd mix. She's outgoing and friendly to everyone. Be sure to like and subscribe so Tux and Callie know you're watching. The Dana Point Harbor gets its name from an author named Henry Richard Dana and a book he wrote called 2 Years Before the Mast. It's a good read and describes his time aboard a merchant tall ship staying in this area in the 1830s. At that time, tall ships would come here to pick up hides to be used for leather goods on the East Coast. It's interesting to hear what this area was like almost 200 years ago. The most prominent location at that time was the Mission San Juan Capistrano, which is located just a couple miles away from the harbor and founded in 1776 by Spanish Catholics of the Franciscan Order. The mission is actually the birthplace of Orange County and the oldest building in California still in use. The tall ship, known as the Pilgrim, is a merchant ship built in 1945 and was a replica of the ship in Henry Richard Dana's book. The Pilgrim had been located here in the harbor for nearly 40 years. It was common for the local grade school kids to come and spend the night on the ship to find out what sea life was all about, and it became a bit of a tradition in the area. We'll go into the details of the Pilgrim in another episode, but the ship is no longer in Dana Point, as it was known as one of the main icons in the Dana Point area. It was celebrated in a Tall Ship Festival here every September. The Ocean Institute was founded in 1977 to bring marine science education and sailing programs for the youth in the area. It's worth a visit as they have aquariums and live tide pools and showcase various sea life. They even have a Touch a Shark exhibit. They have their own research vessel called the Explorer and also sponsor another tall ship called the Spirit of Dana. Behind the Ocean Institute is the bluff that looks over the area that was called Killer Dana and was a big wave surf break before they started to build the harbor back in 1968. At that time, it was considered one of the big wave surf breaks on the West Coast. It was called Killer Dana because of the rocks to surf around at the takeoff spot when catching the wave, and also because it would break with considerable size. Here's some footage from the 4th of July in 2020 when the break was just going off at a big southwest swell. Look at the power and the way as it comes across the jetty that wasn't there all those years ago. There are a few brave souls that try to surf the place on southwest swells in the summer and fall. As you go past the Ocean Institute heading out to sea, on the right side along the jetty there is a sandbar that appears at low tide. The high tide will completely cover it. It's important to know that it's there as you're cruising through the harbor. It's a favorite location for both kayaks, paddleboards, and dinghies. You often see boats anchored just off this area and dogs running up and down the sand, as is one of Tex and Callie's favorite spots. The sandbar is created by the sand coming through the jetty. Apparently, when they were building the harbor, a marine biology high school teacher in San Clemente told them it was going to be a problem to put the jetty there, that the sand would build up on the inside and be required to be dredged every few years. As you can see, this outside channel that goes along the island part of the harbor leads you out to sea. You'll often see folks sailing down the main channel. Our wind typically comes out of the northwest around the Dana Point headlands and accelerates in this area of the harbor, especially in the late afternoons. We're now passing the Dana Point Yacht Club, which is located on the island area of the harbor just over the bridge. As we explore this area, you'll see Baby Beach, where all the paddleboarders, kayakers, and outrigger canoes launch from. It's shallow and calm here, so an ideal place to launch. The outrigger canoes are quite popular here, as we often see the Dana Outrigger Club training here in preparation for competing against other teams. It's definitely a team sport when you have 6 to 8 to 10 people in a single outrigger and need to work together. There is the West Wind Sailing location where they hold classes for all ages and will teach you to sail. On the other side of the dock is the home base for the Sea Scout organization in this area called Mariners 936. Mariners is a co-ed boating program for young people ages 14 to 18. This youth program teaches you about sailing and how to competently sail as you progress through the program. Jim Wynn, the skipper of the Spirit of Dana Point tall ship, is the founder. Jim and his crew lead Catalina and Channel Island trips with the teenagers as part of the program and even teach them about sailing races. On the other side of the dock are the guest slips that you can rent each night from the marina. There's a pump out station here if needed. There is also a public dock on the other side of the harbor near the launch ramp that you can tie up for a few minutes to go out to lunch or dinner. You can't stay there all day, and it's more of a dinghy dock for small boats. We'll now continue down the main channel through the harbor. We're passing the Dana Point Yacht Club just across the channel from the guest docks. There are 2 yacht clubs here in the harbor. Dana Point Yacht Club, located at the west tip of the island. It has a beautiful location right on the water. It often rents out its banquet room for wedding receptions and special events. It has a nice balcony area overlooking the harbor, so you can dine outdoors and watch the boats go by. Since it's located near Baby Beach, there is a lot of activity in this area, and it's fun to watch the sailboats and paddleboards go by. The other yacht club in the harbor is called the Dana West Yacht Club. It is located right next to the bridge just across the main channel on the island. It's smaller, but many members have been there a long time and is known to be a very friendly group of people with excellent food. They have an active youth sailing program. You often see them out in the water in the afternoons throughout the year. It's amazing how good some of those kids are sailing these tiny little boats. One of the benefits of joining a yacht club is reciprocal privileges. So if you travel to another harbor area that has a yacht club and you let them know you're coming, they'll let you tie your boat up at their dock or at least stop by to use their facilities to have a drink or get something to eat. It's a really nice benefit when you've been out to sea all day or even longer. The Coast Guard Auxiliary often does boating classes at these clubs, and they host other sailing and boating guest speakers to share their knowledge and experiences. We're heading towards the main bridge that goes onto the island. We're now passing E-Dock, where some of the larger boats are located in the West Basin, just north of the bridge. As we continue down the main channel past the bridge, it's now called the east side of the marina. There is a sailing club here in the harbor called Aventura. It's now under new ownership since 2019, and they're making some interesting changes. One of them is to sponsor a sail share program. The way this program works is that they take a vessel and have it purchased for the club. So Aventura maintains it and even fills it with gas and does the maintenance, so it's ready to go when you show up. You share that vessel with 6 or 8 other people depending how they set it up. And then you get so many weeks per year to use the vessel. You sign a contract for either a few months or up to a year so you can get in and out of it very easily. That's a great option if you want to explore sailing as a lifestyle and see if it works for you. The new owners of this club are focusing on social events, social sails, sailing classes, and even individual instruction. Typically, they have a group of sailboat owners that rent out their vessels to the club. This creates a fleet of available boats that can be trained on and individually rented. I was part of this program a few years back, and it was a great way to try different brands of sailboats and configurations. The only real limitation is that they don't want you to sail these boats solo, so they require 2 or 3 people to be with you. There's something about being out in just the wind and the waves that is really special about sailing. This was the main form of transportation on the sea for thousands of years. As we come up the main channel, you notice that there are several large Nordhavn vessels. We have the dealership for this area based in the harbor. Nordhavn has a beautiful location right on the water, and it was once a restaurant there, so it has a premium location. These vessels are well built and capable of cruising great distances. It's not uncommon for one of these to go from California all the way to Hawaii, which is about a 5-hour flight by plane, so approximately 2,500 miles. On this east side of the marina is where the restaurants are located, along with the Sport Fishing and Harbor Patrol. We do have an issue with sea lions sunning themselves on docks and swim steps. We're coming up on the Harbor Patrol dock, which is located at the southern tip of the island, right before exiting to go to sea. There are a couple places in the harbor where sea lions are around on a consistent basis. Right now, they seem to want to visit the docks behind Harbor Patrol. As you can see, some of the younger ones are having a fun time playing and even teasing each other. I was shooting one of the younger sea lions, and it took off from the dock straight for Callie to get a closer look. It came right alongside our boat and gave Callie a good look before going back underwater. It must have thought Callie was a relative or something. The sea lions are quite heavy and can be a problem for boaters on the east side of the harbor. You often see buckets and small fences put around swim steps and boat slips to keep them away from their vessel. The sea lions often visit the bait dock area since they have live bait swimming in ocean water tanks. When you leave the harbor and you're heading to the south towards San Diego, you'll come across the red buoy, and it usually has the sea lions basking in the sun. The next area is the green buoy, which is heading north towards the Catalina Island direction. The sea lions are usually hanging out on this buoy too. This is a popular turnaround spot for both kayakers and paddleboarders coming from the Baby Beach area in the harbor. We're now heading towards the bait dock, which has live bait where the sport fishing vessels stop. From here, we'll head towards the fuel dock, which is across from the sport fishing boats and the whale watching tours. There are some good restaurants here. For breakfast and lunch, we like Proud Mary's, but they are only open from 8 to 2. Turk's is right next door in case you want a sandwich or a drink. Waterman's and the Fish and Chip Place are also popular locations in this area. Just a few minutes walk from the wharf area are some of our favorite restaurants, such as the Harbor Grill, which is more fine dining, El Torito, and Coffee Importers, which has great bagels and smoothies, along with lots of coffee choices. If you're looking for seafood, I would recommend Harbor Grill, Harpoon Henry's, and Wind and Sea restaurants. And there's always the Chart House located up the steep hill above the harbor if you're looking for a view and a great meal. The Dana Wharf Sport Fishing and Whale Watching Fleet is located in this area along with the Catalina Express. I am told that Dana Point is one of the best whale watching and dolphin touring areas in Southern California. The sport fishing boats go out for part of the day or even overnight. The Catalina Express departs for Avalon several times a day depending upon the time of year. Catalina Island is located about 37 miles from this port. Next to Waterman's Restaurant is the launch ramp area in case you decide to bring your boat here to launch for the day. If you're bringing your vessel by trailer, the launch ramp is about $15 a day and has ample parking. There are facilities to wash down your boat afterwards, and with the exception of weekends in the summer, it's usually not too busy. If you're visiting the harbor by vessel, you can either rent a guest slip from the Dana Marina Company, or if there's space for a short time, there is a public dock located below Waterman's Restaurant right behind where the Catalina Express docks. It's more of a dinghy dock due to its size, but some people with smaller vessels also tie off there to get something to eat. Another area just outside the harbor worth visiting and known for longboard surfing is called Doheny Beach. It's a state park area, so you can camp in there and have access to fire pits along the beach. There is also a bike rental place. You can ride bikes all the way down to North Beach San Clemente, which is about 4 miles away. Surf at Doheny breaks mostly in the summer and fall, as it faces south-southwest and picks up the swells at that time of year, and is a great place for a beach day with the family. Cali on the Water is brought to you by Direct a Boater. We offer water-safe, biodegradable soaps and shampoos for fresh and salt water without dyes or fragrances for boating, camping, hiking, or traveling. Direct a Boater has an extensive line of logbooks to record your time on the water with family and friends, and also to track the maintenance records for your vessel. These logbooks have a special binding that opens flat, so they are easy to write in and will keep all your important boating information in one place. These logbooks make a great gift for the new or experienced captain. Direct a Boater has an extensive line of cleaning and maintenance products to help keep your boat or RV looking new and protected. Direct a Boater offers dock lines for every size boat with a simple system to determine which type of dock line is best for you. These dock lines come in a variety of materials, sizes, and colors to keep you safe and looking good on the water. You can find Direct a Boater boating and camping products at directaboater.com. We're heading back towards the main channel to finish up our day on the water. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please don't forget to like and subscribe as it helps for others to see our content. Keep an eye out for more episodes as we explore more destinations along the coast.